Hello you guys, I am in New York today and about to go to visit Longevity Clinic Extension Health, visiting Dr. Jonathan Koo. I'm going to be learning what's going on in his clinic. He has incredible regenerative medicine, things like plasmapheresis, which is plasma exchange to rejuvenate your whole body. He has all this different neural check for your vagus nerve to work for your PTSD, stress relief, peptides, hyperbaric chambers, and many more other incredible things. Like today, I'm going to be doing VO2 max. I'm going to be doing a DEXA scan and a body alignment scan and so much more. Why we're doing all these regenerative and longevity medicine things to live longer, to anti-age your body, your biological age, and to have an incredible, long, beautiful life. Like Brian Johnson says, don't die. We'll try not to die, but the best thing is to stay healthy, vibrant, young, and to live as long as you can. So let's go. Voila, we're here. Extension Health. So I'm about to do 3D postural alignment scan. It's gonna scan me 360 degrees and I'll know what my posture looks like. Is it perfect, is it not?
Basically, this is the perfect model that we're looking for.
Next test, I'm doing resting metabolic health.
Finding your resting metabolic rate, it finds out how many calories your body burns at rest, so how much energy does it take just to keep you alive. It's great for weight management if you're looking to lose or maintain your current weight, also to build muscle and lose fat. Also, if you're looking to gain weight for any reason.
How often would you do that?
I would probably do it every 3 to 6 months.
So we're gonna do VO2 max. I've never done it. Tell me more about it.
It's a running test to see how your body tolerates intense cardiovascular activity. It's a really good measurement for overall cardiovascular health.
Also, they have really important device called DEXA scan machine to learn everything about your body mass, your bone density, your visceral fats, as well as metabolic health. So all these things that we do to track our metabolic health, our cardiovascular disease, everything. Let's have a water sip before I go for my hardest run of all my life. Survived. Oh my god. That was the hardest part, was actually cooling off the first 30 seconds. I was like panicking. I wanted to take the mask off. She's like, no, keep the mask on. Resting heart rate is actually good. Heart rate variability is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm burning 1,091 calories a day. This is what I was looking for. I was like, I've seen this on his videos. I was like, where is it? Where is it? So here we go. It's so beautiful. So nice to see you.
Good to see you. Hello.
Finally,
hello.
So from San Francisco to LA.
Yes.
Now in New York, in your hometown, in your beautiful clinic. I'm
Thank you.
super excited to come here. And
This is our live green wall, actually. It's one of the largest live green walls in New
Wow.
York City. It provides a little
Beautiful.
ambience and oxygen and kind of clears the air.
it's beautiful, very homey, cozy.
Try to make it nice and cozy.
Yeah, and I love the lighting too.
This is our TMS. This is transcranial magnet. and
Oh,
we
what
use
is
this,
TMS?
Transcranial magnetic stimulation. So we use this to treat depression, anxiety, OCD. There's some cognitive enhancement protocols, memory enhancement protocols. Stimulate certain areas of your brain to get those kind of results.
Wow, this is cool.
Yeah,
I've never
of course.
seen this before. I love the emerald. Is that your favorite color?
Ah, yes. Deep sea green.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can tell it through the whole clinic, like a green live.
This is our plasmapheresis machine.
Oh,
You've
this
probably
is
seen
the
a lot of
famous.
videos. So this therapeutic plasma exchange where we remove several liters of plasma from your body. We basically can kind of clean out your system,
Yeah.
right? And remove a lot of the inflammatory proteins, pro-aging components, kind of autoimmune, kind of heavy metals, microplastics. We've done studies that this can show significant reductions in those numbers. So
This is the ultimate longevity trick right here. I'm actually going to be doing this one in my mom in a couple of months.
oh, great.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the one that has one of the most data proven 4 to 6 sessions of this. We've been shown to like really reduce your biological age, all the inflammatory markers in your blood. You do have to process all that blood volume. We do remove 2 liters of plasma, and then we replace it with saline, human albumin, and we actually do something called IVIG as well, intravenous immunoglobulin, because IVIG does demonstrate that kind of modulates your immune system and kind of reduces inflammation as well.
And is it like a pharmaceutical kind of a cocktail, or what is that exactly?
IVIG?
Yeah.
It's an IV form of immunoglobulin. Okay, so that can like help your, simple way to say it is just can help your immune system.
Yeah, but where do you get it
Bolsters your
from?
immune
Because a lot of
system.
people are asking me, like, what kind of a plasma that you putting? Like, what is it, like pharmaceutically made, or
You replace with human albumin, albumin 5%.
And-
that comes from humans.
where do you get it from?
We get it from a compound, a sterile pharmacy.
Okay.
And that's like purified, irradiated, it's clean, it's like tested, and so that's the replacement fluid that we use. And then immunoglobulins also come from humans. All right, it's called IVIG, and those come in little vials as well.
I see. What is this little? How do you replace it with?
Replace with this human albumin. Okay, so we use multiple bottles of this.
That's all human from like a healthy people or something?
Yes, from healthy donors.
Donors, yeah. Wow.
Healthy donors, screen filtered.
Is there any rejections or people don't? Once you remove their plasma, because I have people asking me like,
An
what's
immune
the
system reaction? Or
Right,
rejection?
yeah.
Typically not. We've really not seen that, and even in all the kind of studies that are out there, like you see that almost very uncommonly. Okay, because the only things we're adding back are saline and human albumin. All right, human albumin is the basic protein in your bloodstream. So we're not adding any foreign components to this. There are some people that can get a reaction to IgG, the immunoglobulins.
Okay.
If you have like a specific IgA deficiency, so you can actually test for that before you do.
Right, I know that you
these
test before, yeah.
Processes, but almost never. Plasmapheresis is really quite safe. We do need to kind of know your hematocrit numbers beforehand, so we know exactly how much volume to take out and how much to replace.
Makes sense.
But that done well, we almost never run into any reactions, right? Sometimes calcium levels can drop a little bit. We give a little bit of calcium gluconate as a drip, but other than that, it's actually really quite safe.
And EBO, I've done EBO myself.
Yes, this is the EVO machine. This is not currently set up here, but the process of this is ozone dialysis. Okay, so you get 2 large IVs. The blood gets sent through this pump, and then we send it through a filter. All right, we send it through a filter here that can filter out some of the toxins, heavy metals, and stuff like that. All right, and then we apply ozone and oxygen to it from the top. We expose blood on a high surface area to ozone and oxygen. We know that ozone is very deactivating of bacteria, virus, fungi, mold, and things like that. And then it triggers an immune system response, all right? So you get this like oxidative stress response to your immune system. What that does is it just tells your immune system to react. All right, it's almost like exercise for your immune system. Immune system needs exercise just like any other organ systems. So we find this really quite helpful for people that have chronic viral infections, chronic bacterial infections, Lyme, mold exposure, long COVID. So those are some of the things we treat for. But even in healthy people, all right, healthy people that don't have these things, it is an exercise to your immune system, and it also boosts your mitochondrial function. All the blood that's exposed to oxygen is then run through a full spectrum of UV lights and then LED lights, which is also disinfecting and just charges your mitochondria with energy. Most people after this procedure feel better, more energy.
Yeah. What do you suggest? How often should people do EBO?
Depends on what you're using it for, all right? If you're actually treating a condition, like some of those things that I just mentioned, you'd be a series of three EBOs, like a week or 2 apart.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's a kind of treatment of a disease. If you're kind of using for
Maintenance.
prophylactic maintenance, kind of like anti-aging purposes, once a quarter.
Once a quarter? Wow. It's totally different, but it's kind kind of the same. It also removes the mold, the toxicity, everything. Would you
Yeah.
choose that over that if you had to choose?
They're so different, okay?
Yeah.
This is like a physical removal of the plasma and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff in there, okay? This is more like a deactivation of the pathogens plus an immune system modulation and
Right,
boost.
right.
Like, so the concepts are quite different, and people that are looking for all of the anti-aging techniques, you would do both.
Both,
Okay,
okay,
and like
makes
we're kind of
sense.
like thinking of ways to like how can we actually combine these systems into kind of a much simpler like one-time treatment.
Interesting.
But that's still under
Yeah.
investigation, so we're not
Got
sure
it.
of what that answer is just yet. Both effective, I would say. Ozone's been used for many years, especially in other countries, especially in like Asia and stuff like that. Plasmapheresis has also been around for a very long time, but mainly in like an ICU setting where you're treating like sepsis and things like that.
Like in Russia, even in 60s and 70s, they've been using that already.
Totally.
Yeah.
So these both technologies have been around for a long time. It's just been more recently used for, longevity, anti-aging purposes.
What is a neurophoresis?
Ionusphoresis.
Yeah, ionusphoresis. Is there a separate
Ionusphoresis.
machine or?
Yeah, ionusphoresis is new. We're going to be one of the
Okay.
first clinics in the U.S.
Is
to
it
have
different
that.
from this?
Very different from that.
So
yeah.
what's the?
Ionusphoresis is similar to that. It almost kind of combines these two things, okay? But it doesn't use ozone or anything. It basically is plasmapheresis using a filter. So we have different kinds of filters that filter certain particles and proteins in your blood, right? So actually, we're not doing the plasma removal process. We're doing a plasma filtration process. So you don't need to use replacement fluid and stuff
got
like
it.
that.
Because they have that one in Switzerland.
Yes,
I was
Switzerland,
in Germany. Yes, I was
yeah.
in Austria like 2 years ago. Was considering doing that.
Yes,
But they wanted to do
yes.
3 to back to back. Now you have it.
We are going to be one of the first ones to have it. Like it's under a
amazing.
clinical trial IND for FDA approval,
Yeah.
which hopefully we'll get. So we're here in the operating suite here at Extension Health. This is where I do a lot of my procedures, whether it's that neuro reset that I'll talk to you a little bit about, or some of the regenerative medicine procedures that we do here. Here's where I do a lot of the regenerative medicine cases. So me and my team of doctors use ultrasound and X-ray guidance, as you can see here, to kind of get our products very accurately into various areas of the body. And so we have autologous program and allogeneic program. Autologous meaning things from yourself, like either PRP, bone marrow stem cells, or adipose.
Oh wow, you do that too here?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. We do adipose. We have an option even for culture expanded adipose these days under an FDA right to try access. So we actually take your fat, send out to a lab, culture expand those cells, and have that come back, and then inject that wherever you kind of need it to go.
Is that still kind of like a liposuction, right?
Yeah, that's a liposuction to get your own fat cells.
Yeah.
Right? But for older individuals, as we get older, our stem cells they don't work as well. Okay, they're a little senescent, they get a little exhausted, and in those times that we actually need to consider some of the allogeneic options. Right, so things from the lab these days. There's like various different kinds of stem cells and exosomes and products, perinatal products, umbilical cord stuff. A lot of it's under kind of like FDA investigation, or we have INDs that cover some of these things. But we're seeing a lot better results when you use sometimes a combination of autologous and allogeneic. Sometimes you would just use an allogeneic. And so we're kind of like on top of that research.
It depends on the person.
Depends on the person, the condition, your medical health, your age, and things like that.
Interesting.
Okay, but yeah, we've been using exosomes for a very long time now. We're the first to publish a safety study on the use of exosomes in the spinal space. So that was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Amazing.
And there's like new second, third generation exosomes, new generations of cells that are much better these days.
And safer and just
safer and just they last longer. They have homing mechanisms. They can differentiate in multiple different kinds of cell types. So that's a very exciting area that we've done a lot.
Isn't it amazing how we are going so fast? Soon we're just going to come in and get a shot, like a really quick shot, like a B12 shot as an exosome, and off we go, right? Maybe in 5 years.
Yes. I mean, that's how I.
But now the IVs are already like, in like 2 hours you can get exosomes.
And IVs are even quicker than that.
It's true.
Those can even be like pushed.
It's like as a push as wow, incredible.
We use them as we use exosomes combined with peptides and other kind of products and injections, like in the spine, in the joints, in the tendons. We do a lot of these almost like advanced procedures, like intraosseous procedures, which are injections actually directly into the bone. Okay, so we use a little bone drill to get some of these products directly into the the surface underneath the cartilage.
Wow.
The studies show that that's going to work a lot better than just a simple joint injection.
Wow.
So it sounds intense, but you know, we have some anesthesia.
Yeah.
Before we use little bone drills to kind of get into those spaces for degenerative joint conditions.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so
amazing. That's amazing, guys. If you got any pain, anything joint problem here, come to New York, get it done. It will change your life. And I know you are also doing the neural vagus nerve, which is pretty cool. I just did it myself in LA.
Oh, wonderful. Great.
We didn't use the monitor.
Okay.
Dr. Lee Clement, he just did it as the, without monitoring. But yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Great. You felt the difference, huh?
Like so beautifully.
Amazing. The neuro reset is a procedure that combines a stellate ganglion block and a vagus nerve injection as well. This is a procedure that we've seen very useful for anxiety, PTSD, long COVID, and even some sleep issues.
Yeah.
Okay. And so those 4 conditions, I would say, that have the kind of most clinical evidence around that. This is one of the signature things that I do. I've done like over several thousand cases at this point. We have a lot of people kind of flying in for that kind of treatment.
That's pretty cool.
The vagus nerve injection is something that's a lot more novel. Okay, that's like still under investigation. We're doing a clinical trial here to kind of see what an isolated vagus nerve injection does in terms of HRV, parasympathetic scores, sleep scores, and things like that. That's under investigation, but clinically, when I've done those cases, I see a lot more benefit when you add the vagus nerve injection in addition to the stellate ganglion block.
I personally love it.
This is actually an image of exactly kind of where that needs to be.
Yeah.
I just took a little image of my
How
own
about yourself?
neck here. And so that's the carotid artery. This is the longest coli. The needle kind of needs to be right in this area, just right under the fascial layer of the longest coli. I would say that these really do need ultrasound guidance to do properly. Okay, and the vagus nerve is actually right here.
Maybe he had some ultra. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I was on the bed that I was out and I didn't see. Maybe he had a. Yeah, he must had it something. Yeah.
That's the ultrasound. You know, once again, you can do a lot of work with a combination of X-ray and ultrasound. The best image guidance you can really get very, very accurately onto almost all the parts.
And what do you inject?
Depends on whether it's for a neuro reset. For a neuro reset, we inject local anesthetic. All right, local anesthetic combined with sometimes some peptides. Okay? And then for the vagus nerve, because it's a nerve, we want to improve the function of the nerve. Nerves we do glucose, dextrose solution. We add peptides, and then sometimes we add exosomes.
Oh,
all right, and we do this what we call a hydrodissection of the vagus nerve. So it's a column of fluid that we put around the vagus nerve. We're still trying to determine exactly like what the volume of that should be.
Interesting.
All right, could be 3 or 5 or 10 mLs. Who would need exosomes? If we really suspect someone has a lot of vagus nerve dysfunction,
damage.
Okay, if they kind of depending on clinical condition, that's when we would use exosomes. And the theory behind using exosomes on the vagus nerve is the vagus nerve communicates very directly with the brain, right? As that nerve just basically comes out of one of these frames in the brain. So that is a way to kind of deliver exosomes directly on the nerve and also have access to the central nervous system directly that way.
That's pretty amazing. Oh my God, I'm like a kid. I'm so excited about all these things. Like it just tells me we can literally live longer, and as Brian Johnson says, don't die.
Keep yourself healthy, and technology is going to move forward very rapidly, and there's all these things that we're learning. One of the things we use a lot here is peptides. These are usually formulated for 1 month, except the GLP-1s. The GLP-1s are
tirzepatides.
Tirzepatides that can last multiple months, depending on.
Do you add vitamin B12 to tirzepatide?
We don't, but our tirzepatide works really well because it's not salt-based. Category of medications that I feel like has a great safety profile and a great efficacy profile. We've been doing this for several years now, treating several thousand patients, and them to me is like a great way to really optimize your health. From cellular efficiency, hormone deficiencies, controlling your inflammation, all those things can be a lot of that work can be accomplished with peptides. So we have the full suite of injectable peptides that all of you might have heard about, right? Like the BPCs, the TP4s, the GHKs, mitochondrial peptides like MOTS, SS31, the NAD, and then the immune system ones like thymosin alpha-1, thymulin, the apidolon for telomere lengthening and hormonal support. We carry all of those lines.
I love
we do work in
peptides.
that. Then I think where we're kind of innovative here is we've also come up with some kind of special lines, all right? So one of the things that some patients are, a little needle phobic. They don't want to inject themselves.
For sure.
And so
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
And I'm glad that you have this very cool sprays.
Yeah. So, going through our line here, we have peptides for 5 different sprays, all right? One for sleep, for sex, for immunity, and for anxiety. Right?
Which one do you guys choose? I choose super sexy now.
And so these are nasal spray peptides that have kind of been A, formulated for stability, okay, and then B are combinations of different peptides that work for certain indications. And so for, say, the sleep spray, we have a combination of pinealon and DSIP. Pinealon that helps regulate melatonin. DSIP is a deep sleep-inducing peptide, all right?
Yeah.
For the super sexy spray, all right? The super sexy
oxytocin?
spray here, PT141,
PT1, okay.
PP141, which is central arousal mechanisms, and oxytocin, which is a hormone that promotes feelings of closeness and bonding.
I do oxytocin shots once a week.
You're all about the sexy spray, right? Okay.
All about everything. Optimizing it.
CTFO is our anxiety spray.
Ah,
right? So a lot of people
cool.
with a lot of anxiety here in the modern world.
How fast is these sprays working?
I would say they work within 20 minutes of spraying, okay?
And how often can you spray these?
We usually recommend twice a day, up
That's
to 4
it.
sprays a day, but there honestly is no kind of theoretical limit to these. You're not seeing people have any side effects from them, so you can kind of use them as needed.
Are they mild or like they sting?
No, they're pH balanced, so they don't
cool.
sting.
Because you know how some like sprays that we've seen in the biohacking world, they're like very kind of like when you spray and they're like, oh my god, they're burning, and they're like, oh my god, it's crazy.
Yeah. So ours are formulated to be pH balanced, so they don't do that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. The anxiety
Love
spray
that.
is a combination of a C-Lank, which is one of the most useful peptides for anxiety, okay? And then something called PE2228, which is typically used for as an anxiolytic and also is helpful for depression, but used combined with C-Lank, we kind of see that as a good combo.
I love this innovation because I know even a lot of my clients, they're like, I'm trying to get them into the peptides, and they're like, no, Brianna, I can't inject myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is good, the sprays.
Before and after flights, or when your body's in stress mode.
I need to get that one.
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
one can help with that.
Yeah.
And then our last one is our nootropic sprays. Okay, our nootropic sprays have a combination of Noopept, NAD, NMN, L-carnosine.
Wow.
And that is like a really nice combo.
That's amazing. I
really
love
stimulate
it.
the brain without any of the jitteriness or side effects of things like Adderall. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's get some. Thank you so much. This is so cool.
Of
I
course.
love learning
Yeah,
everything what you do. And you guys, if you're on the East Coast, this is the clinic to come. If you're on the West Coast, you can fly here too. But definitely, hands down, this is the best of all the innovations, all the things that you're not gonna find anywhere in one spot, everything at once. That's what we're talking about.
Thank
yes.
you. Yeah,
So,
we try to, we're trying to make it easy for patients and combining all
Yeah.
the diagnostics and therapeutics in one center.
Yep, and that's
So,
most important thing. So, because you want to actually come to one place and have everything measured and done in the same space instead of running from one office to another. I've done that many times, and I'm gathering all this information and it's all over the place. It's really nice to be in one space and do everything at once. I'm super excited to actually have a podcast in an hour, and we're gonna actually dive deep into even more things. Work that you've done for Brian Johnson.
It's expensive. It's really a functional device. You're actually decreasing inflammation. Balance your hormones, less fat, more energy, better sex, help with nerve damage, relieve joint pain, inject them into tendons.
How often would you recommend for a healthy person to do?
That's a little tricky question. Just do that like once a year.
Wow, it's really amazing. Take a look. Test for biological age for 19 organs.
Your maximum heart rate went up to 164. Would need to maintain at least 1,309. Mold toxicities, persistent viral infections, autoimmune diseases.
Oh my gosh. What's the first step?
All your systems do need
It's pretty safe, right, for other people to know.
One of the only things, a new way of treating people. It gives your immune system a big oxidative boost.
Who would use that?
Over the past 15 years, we've seen over 50,000 patients in chronic pain that we've treated for that. If you're using it for longevity purposes, we usually microdose them.
You sleep amazing. My Aura Ring was sleeping was just like a rock star every day.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
actually got really bad side effects.
The quality is
Yeah.
and the source is very important, especially when you're injecting these into your body. Mostly from China, not really tested. They can contain a lot of contaminants,
Yeah.
heavy metals, or processing techniques. Knowing the right ways to use them is very, very important.
Right.
That can trap misfolded proteins, inflammatory factors, and things like that, and remove them from your circulation. I've seen some really good data on long COVID, mold toxicities.
How do these treatments help with chronic stress, PTSD, and anxiety?
This is really effective for PTSD. It can drop anxiety by 50, 75% at 1 month out. It's also useful for long COVID. It really helped a lot with dysautonomia and some of their kind of COVID-related fatigue. Also, what this does is it actually improves blood flow to the brain.
That's beautiful. I did it 2 months ago and I felt incredible. Brian Johnson is now he's saying he's 15 years younger.
I have a lot of respect for Brian. I think he's doing wonderful things. Brian's a lot focused on the diet, exercise, and sleep, which are absolutely the pillars of longevity.
How many
Years at this
peptides
point.
do you shoot a day?
One for kind of brain health, longevity, one for performance, and one for mitochondria.
What do you think, where are we going?
CRISPR technology, the ability for AI to rapidly kind of find new molecules and new peptides and new proteins and new medications, regrow entire organs, reprogram your cells back to an embryonic state, upload your memory, upload your entire consciousness at some point into a cloud.
What's the most impactful thing they can do right now?
It's
That's what I'm looking for.
yeah.